Wayne. We've got the Cowboys game. We've been with you guys a couple of times. I just want to say thank you for your time. I love it. But before we jump before we jump into breaking down the Seahawks game, looking forward to the Cowboys, we got to get to know each other a little bit more. Wayne, real quick, can
Yes.
you walk us through how you became a 49ers fan? Because I
Oh
think this
man.
is where we all come together.
Yeah, man. It was back in the mid 80s. And I remember watching a game with my mom, and on the TV was the Niners and the Cowboys. Wait, did you set me up for this? The Niners and the Cowboys were on TV. And I love my mom to this day, but I do not love anything about those Dallas Cowboys. So during this time, my mom and I don't speak. But listen, here's the thing. I became a 49ers fan because my mom was a Cowboys fan, and I actually fell in love with the colors, the red and gold. So they stuck out to me. So it was the colors first, players second, and now I'm all in 49ers, baby.
I freaking love it. Now, before we jump to my story real quick, just a couple housekeeping issues. I'm so glad you're here with us. This is incredible. Thank you for the opportunity. The 49ers, Nick Clark, Amber, everybody just coming through and helping us out for this opportunity. But we're going to be giving back to you. The 49ers hooked us up with a great giveaway.
Yeah.
None other than an autographed mini helmet, baby, which I am so pumped about. Check this out. None other than the sack monster, the belly rubber, the Sacramento three-time Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee from the 49ers, Eric Armstead, mini helmet giveaway. So to win this, very, very simple. You're here. You've got it done. You just got to hang out longer. That's it.
Hang
you
out
stick with us. That's it. We need chat. We got you. We need you involved in the chat. What are your questions? What is it that you want to talk about? I see the chat's already going fire here, which I love. So at the end of this show, we're going to be random person. We're going to be giving this away. You just need to be here. That's it. That's all you got to do. So be here, buckle up, have fun. And man, if there is nothing else, why are we football fans, right? It's for this. It's for playoffs. It's for 49ers versus Cowboys. I've shared my story in the past. I grew up in Dallas, so this game is everything for me. And I love that we were invited on this week because the whole reason why I became a Niners fan, it was very simple. I did not like my stepfather. We fought nonstop. He was a diehard Cowboys fan. And for my 10th birthday, just to be a jerk, I asked for a Jerry Rice jersey because I know it would make him angry. And that was it. That was it. Yeah. And so here we are way too many years later for all of us old heads. And so I'm so pumped to jump into this. Go ahead, Wade.
Who made you fall in love with the 49ers?
Spite. It was all spite.
Let me readdress it. Which player was it that enamored you to fall in love with the 49ers?
Okay, so Jerry Rice is the simplest answer, right? I get that. But I played fullback. That was kind of my thing. So Tom Rathman was kind of my that's where I jumped in. I was playing fullback, Texas, you start playing tackle football, third grade, whatever else. And so Rathman was huge. When they drafted Bar None, it was over, man.
Yeah.
It was over. It was over. I changed my number to 40.
That was my number.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
God, we are just alike, bro.
Yeah, we are, man.
Crazy. Jerry Rice was the person that enamored me, right? That's the one. That's the guy. But I'm telling you, I played running back / fullback. Started getting a little bit heavier, bulking up. You know what I'm saying? Went more to the fullback era. You know what I mean? Pretty smart guy, knew the plays, kind of like the predecessor to Kyle Juszczyk. All right. But number 40 was my number. They used to call me 40, yo. Like real talk. Yeah.
Yeah. And
a 40 to my memories.
And it's pretty cool because, we're in different areas. I live in Los Angeles now. Wayne's all the way on the East Coast. And so much about wearing the red and gold, being part of this fanhood that is special. Being a 49ers fan is special. We are the faithful.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about this team is just how great of a job they have done to bring community together, even if you can't make it to the game. And this week is a special week even beyond that. And you can see it kind of rolling around on the tiles below us.
Yeah.
3, not 1, not 2, 3 watch parties set up all across the place. We've got one in San Francisco at Spin SF. We've got one in San Jose at San Pedro Square. And one in Mexico City, which, Wayne and I were there from Mexico City. We went down to, the Gringo spot, which was awesome. Nick Clark just did a great job putting that together. So all those events start 1 hour before kickoff. So if you're around there, that's a wonderful place to tie in with the community, even if you can't make it to the game. But if you can make it to the game, oh my gosh, you are in for a treat. You are in for a treat. The 90s say hello. The 80s say hello. And this is the 41st anniversary of the catch itself. Dwight Clark. God, there's going to be so many great memories coming this week. Now, before we dive 100% into this Cowboys matchup, let's look back, because last week was special too.
Very special.
Because I know for us, I don't know. I hate the Cowboys more than the other team.
John, you know what it was? It was Purdy special.
How great has that kid been? And the questions were, he hasn't done it in the playoffs yet. He's going to have regression. Eventually, it's going to come.
Every week is going to be a different thing, right? Oh, he hasn't played a top defense. That's this week. He hasn't played a number 5. He beat some top defenses. He beat top 5 defenses. He beat the Commanders' defense. He's beaten some defenses, but he hasn't played this defense yet. So that's what's going around now for Brock. So, Brock, you got another chip off your shoulder you got to knock down.
There we go. That's huge. Now, we got some questions in the chat, which I want to get to. Nick Clark corrected me. Thank you, boss. He said San Pedro Social, not Square. I think I misspoke on that, so I apologize there. Now, Raphael, thank you for this question. I'm going to toss this up to you, Wayne. Okay. Will Brock Purdy continue to throw 2 or more touchdowns? He's done it every game he's played in. Since he took over the Miami game, will it continue to 8 straight games?
I mean, it's almost like automatic now, right? Like it's what he does. He's looking to score. He's looking to throw the ball. He's looking to make a play. And so how special it is that we have a young kid to come in here, take over, be thrown into the fire, right? Be thrown into the fire and say, hey, man, look, you got to go win these games. Like, what kind of pressure was that on Brock? And all he does is he's on his Jay-Z. He just brushes the dirt off his shoulders, man.
You are so East Coast, man. Stay true.
I am so East Coast, bro.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, let me say this. Okay, let's go back to the Seahawks game, because I think not so much that questions needed to be answered after winning 10 straight games, right? The Seahawks was the 11th straight victory. But let's focus on one side of the ball. Let's go defense. 49ers finished the year number 1 scoring defense, number 1 yards allowed defense, best in the NFL. I would argue best in the past 10 years. Okay. And it was funny because the last time we were on the show, Wayne, we talked about how many times the 49ers have led the NFL in points scored. Only twice in the entire franchise history. 1960, 1984, if I'm not wrong. So now we add on 2022. So who were a couple of the defensive players that stood out in this wild card game that perhaps we're not so used to hearing their names? We're used to Nick Bosa. We're used to Fred Warner. We're used to those names. But it seemed like, man, we got to step up from some role players, and they kind of dominate. So who are some defensive players that stood out to you this past week versus the Seahawks?
I mean, for me, the number 1 defensive player for me was my man, Mr. Omenahu. I call him Chuck. His name is Charles. I hope I'm not offending him. But listen, this guy's been a baller. I've been so happy. So I got a chance to like chat with him off, whatever. We kind of get our Madden on. He invited me to his Madden league. And then I kindly replied to him in a message, y'all be cheating. And I left the Madden league. So I ain't be cheating. I'll explain it to you off the air. But anyway, no, man, he balled out. 6 total pressures in this game. He had 2 sacks. Should have had a 3rd sack. Gino kind of slipped out of his hand, but he was applying the pressure and he wouldn't stop. Even left the game, came back in the game, decided to say, hey, man, I'm going to be here. Got dinged up, got the wind knocked out of him, got a stinger. I believe that's what it was. Came back in the game and still was wreaking havoc. They couldn't figure him out. They were putting all their attention on Nick Bosa. And we said before, John, we need somebody else to kind of like step up. We know Nick Bosa is going to get the attention. It's the playoffs. He's going to get 3 people, 2 people, 3 people, even 4 people just coming at him. So somebody's got to go out there and make plays. Charles Omenihu stepped up, and he definitely did what he was supposed to do.
You know, Omenahue's interesting to me for several reasons. One, he's so versatile. Like, he's huge, big old dude. He's
Yeah,
long. He plays
yeah.
D end. He plays
Plays
defensive
defensive
tackle. He
tackle.
stunts. He can do the wide nine. He can play on top of the tight end or the tackle and a 5 tech. He can do it all. My favorite thing about it, he's a Longhorn, hook 'em, baby. But
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
whenever I'm looking at the film, the all 22, he's so easy to spot because he got the gold cleats. And so I just want to say, like, it's so difficult because you're looking at the like D line and you can't see the numbers a lot of times, but
And
I
they
know the
rotate him
cleats.
so much, so you're like, which one is this in
I'm
now?
just
Which one is
saying.
this? It's so funny.
One day that's going to pay off. I'll be on Jeopardy and they'll show me a picture of cleats. I'll be able to tell you which 49ers defensive lineman that
Now
is.
watch him come out with a different pair of colored cleats now. Watch.
He's been rocking them for a while. Now, okay, so you started with Charles Omenihu, who is great. I'm going to raise you Diamador Lenore, the hyena.
Okay, sophomore. Okay.
He was getting a little flack on social media, perhaps giving up a couple catches, whatever, whatever. I think he responded having the best game of his career and got the pick, was just shadowing and blanketing people out there. And then just what he continues to do in the run game. He just constantly is where he needs to be at all times. And I think that's a big reason why they made that switch to him at the slot corner spot in week 2. And then sadly, when Mosley, that happened, he stepped up and he's going to have up and downs. But this was a huge clutch game against one of the better wide receiving cores in the NFL in the Seahawks. I thought he played great.
Yeah, I agree, man. Huge clutch game. It's a playoff game. And he came up and responded after facing a little adversity, after giving up his first touchdown of the season, the prior game. Like he came out and definitely did what he was supposed to do. He responded, and that's what you want. That's what you like from our players. They're resilient, right? So if you do get the best of them one time, good luck getting the best of them the next time, because they usually come out and they brush the dirt off, they shake it off, and they come back out, punch you in the mouth. That's the one thing I love about this 49ers defense. I mean, that's exactly what it is. A lot of people are saying, especially the Dallas Cowboys fans, they're like, oh, well, they've never seen this defense. Well, I really don't think they understand the level and intensity of this 49ers defense. There's like bully level, that's their regular style. Bully, that's it. But they go higher than bully. Like it's ridiculous. I don't want to say those names on the air, but it gets bad. And so that's what these teams are facing. Matter of fact, John, they get so bad that when teams lose to them, they kind of don't win anymore. Like, and we're talking regular season. And so, hey, man, 49ers defense is definitely the strong suit. But shout out to Diamador Lenore, who definitely responded to that adversity. He came back resilient, and he was a baller out there. Yes, a.k.a. the hyena.
Yeah, and I see you, Manny, in the chat. He says, Kinlaw was brilliant. One of the takeaways that I had going back through the film was the first 2 drives. 49ers go out there, force 3 and outs. Not one player made more than one play. Like it was just, it kept being somebody else. It was Kinlaw early on, then it was Armstead, then it was Dre Greenlaw, then it was Warner, then it was, Demo. Like it was, that's one of the things. You have the superstars, and this is kind of what started our conversation on the defense. Bosa, Warner, Hufanga, Greenlaw. There's guys there. There's superstars. But it's somebody stepping up each week. It's Jordan Willis being a player of the game. It's Charles Omenihu being a player of the game. And it's just, you know what? If you want to try to isolate Nick Bosa, and you said this, right? You want to focus on Bosa, that's cool. 94 is coming for you. 57 is coming for you.
Yeah.
And it's just a different player that steps up.
56, you name it. Like they're coming.
They're talented, man. They're talented. Now, let's take a real quick sidestep before we get to the offense of the Seattle production. And I see this in the chat. Shout out to Debbie Top Hat Ryan. She says, with the Rand Carthon hiring, what picks are going to happen? So first off, just want to say, tip of my hat, Rand Carthon. I talked to people all over the NFL, and you will never hear anybody say anything bad about this guy. He has been incredible for the 49ers in the personnel department. He's incredible. He just got hired as the GM for the Tennessee Titans, and could not be more happy for him. That is such an honor and incredible. Now, the logistics side of it and how that applies to Niners fans. Go, you shoot first.
Yeah, man, the logistics side is you get comp picks, all right? And
Yes.
so we're talking a comp pick this year in 2023, and then a comp pick in 2024. And if John, if my math is mathing, do the 49ers, they currently will have 3 comp picks from the coaches. And then if D'Amico Ryans does leave and gets hired, that would make it a 4th comp pick,
Not
or his
close, but
comes
yes,
from next
close,
year.
but no. So, because what happens is, part of the regulations where they brought on this, minority hires being hired to head coach and GM spots. If you have more than one hired in a year, and the 49ers have already done this with Robert Saleh and Martin Mayhew, what happens is instead of an additional 3rd round pick this year, it stacks a 3rd year. So you are already getting 3rd round comp picks in 2023 draft and 2024 draft, right?
Mhm.
That's for the hiring that just took place with Ron
That's
Carthon.
for Ron. Yes.
Now, if D'Amico gets hired, you stack an additional year. So 2023, 2024, then 2025. So that's what would happen. So again, for example, the 49ers are still receiving a 3rd round comp pick this year for Robert Saleh and Martin Mayhew, even though that was 3 years ago.
Mhm.
So you don't get an additional 3rd this year. That'll be tacked on to 2025. But there are a plethora of picks. Plethora, one of my favorite words. It means many. Shout out 3 amigos. But yes, the 49ers have 3 3rd round comp picks. They also got a 5th round pick in the Jeff Wilson trade. They have their own 5th round pick. They got a 5th round pick coming for DJ Jones, compensation for him leaving. 6th round pick, Arden Key. Your own 7th rounder. Then you got 3 more 7th rounders. Get this. Jonas Griffith, when you traded him a while ago, you got back a 7th. Compensation pick for Raheem Mostert, 7th round. Compensation pick for the Shark, K'Wan
Yeah,
Williams. So
Williams.
currently, the 49ers are looking at 11 picks in this draft, which
Man, that
is
picks.
it's a lot of picks. It might not be, 1st, 2nd round picks, but this team has hit consistently in the 3rd and 5th round. And they have 3 3rd rounders and they have 3 5th rounders. So shout out to the personnel department and Rand Carthon. Just wanted to say congratulations to him and jump into kind of the implications that brings for the draft. Now, let's switch back. Offensive players that stood out to you in that win versus the Seahawks in the wild card round.
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, the whole offense. I mean, obviously, a lot of people want to go with Brock. I mean, Brock stood out. I mean, he had the game
We're
of his.
going to do a whole Brock segment. So let's
Yeah, I
set
mean,
Brock aside.
yeah,
That dude deserves it all.
well, let's start with Brandon Ayuk, right? So he might not have had this electrifying, 10 catch, 137 yards, 2 touchdown type of a game, but without his blocking, the 49ers aren't scoring on some of these plays or getting some of these big runs. So Brandon Ayuk definitely stood out to me because when you watch the film, he's always in there on a block as Debo.
He's mean. Yeah, I mean, Debo, the touchdown he scored was incredible. But what's crazy is this. In flag football, that would have been a touchdown. Debo's known for running through people.
Right,
Nobody even touched him.
right, right.
And a lot of that was the blocking for Ayuk. And, I want to stick with the blocking. I want to go with a rookie.
I
Number
know you
7-4, Spencer Burford.
Spencer
I
Burford.
thought he put together the best game. I said the same thing about Demo, right? Young Bucks stepping up in playoff moments
Under the lights, because
under the
playoffs is
lights.
all lights. You get what I'm saying?
Burford, I thought was incredible.
Had his best game by
He was
far.
getting to the 2nd level just nonstop. You go to that Brock Purdy quarterback sneak, which let's be honest, Brock Purdy struggled in quarterback sneaks since
Mhm.
he's come in, but the interior offensive linemen, they made a point to help him out back there. And the push that he got on the goal line, it was so easy for Brock to get in there because of the movement from Spencer Burford. I thought he put together his best game, his rookie campaign, which, man, I know they're still rookies, right? I get it,
Yeah, regular
but
season's over.
they played 18 games now.
They on their sophomore year, man. They're digging into, you know what I'm saying, a whole nother level, or they're tapping into another level. And this is what I like about the rookies. Shout out to Spencer Burford too, really good guy. How about he started beginning of the season
All year,
all year
all
long,
year,
like
all year.
4th round pick, offensive line. That doesn't happen too often. Not here.
Oh.
So that tells you the amount of work that he put in. That tells you about his, his IQ, what it is, and what it takes to be an offensive lineman for the San Francisco 49ers, because it is super complicated if you ask them. And so it just lets me know that this kid is out there putting some of the best football out there. And then I think it was the game before, like, it was a game where he kind of like had a down game and he was talked about, and he made mention of it. Watch me this week or something like that. And then he came out and put the film out.
I think, you constantly see these kind of trends and narratives developing, and it's one of just sustaining, right? This isn't a hothead franchise that gets out there and is overly emotional and, pulling players and whatever and putting stuff out there in media. They don't do that. They back their own. And so this is the NFL. You're playing against quality opponents week in, week out, especially in the playoffs. You believe in your personnel. You believe in the scheme, and it delivers. Don't overreact. I know it's social media where you and I deal most of our time. It gets rough because whatever the last play was, that player is the best or the worst player the NFL has ever seen. But that's not reality, and it's not football. There's usually about 60 to 70 offensive plays and defensive plays each game. The other opponents are going to win a couple. But stay steady, stick with your guys. Good things are going to come. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people throwing up Debo in the chat. He was unreal. Let's just be real. And, another thing that I want to throw out there, the Miami game when Brock Purdy first came in, Debo was the most targeted wide receiver, like almost twice as many targets as anybody else. Debo injury took place. Debo comes back. How's Brock Purdy and Debo going to be? Well, guess what?
They picked up right where they left off.
Picked up right where they left off. Debo had 9 targets. Next was Brandon Ayuk with 5 and Juwan Jennings with 5. So almost twice as many targets again. It just goes off. 6 catches, 103 yards and a touchdown, 3 rush attempts. The first rush attempt went to Debo.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey was playing tight end.
Yeah, it was like and it was a beautiful setup. The blocking was good. I think it was a block by Ayuk again on that one.
Yeah.
Listen, Debo is Debo, man. And here's the thing. I keep saying that he's that weapon X, right? Like, he might not be the X factor, but he's definitely the weapon X, right? And so if you guys follow comic books and you follow the whole Marvel, Wolverine series and all that type of stuff, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I mean, the guy gets dinged up, he rejuvenates really fast, and then he goes out there and plays even harder. I mean, you watch the guy get his leg twisted, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, he just turned into, the Daredevil or something. And next thing you know, he goes out there and he's just lighting that tail up. That's what he did. That's what happened. The whole team.
I love it. Now, before we jump in, we're going to dive into some Brock Purdy conversation, but I love the chat. Appreciate you guys so much.
Awesome.
Mr. Cortez says he's from Stockton, California, so not too far. And we've got a question here from Manny saying, Breezy, are you from New York or New Jersey? But before he answers that, if you're in the chat, if you're watching this live, we want to hear from you. Where is it that you are watching this show live? So again, we can get a little bit more feel of this community and the fact that even though we might be spread out, we're all here together. So throw in the chat exactly where you're watching from live. We'll jump into those. Now, Breezy, New York or New Jersey, where are you from?
I'm close. It's close, right? Close. Let's see, 3.5 hours probably from Jersey. Or 3 hours from Jersey, maybe an hour and a half from New York. I'm from Connecticut, so it's right above those 2 states. So it's Connecticut, New York, Jersey, and you keep going down south. So not too far from the bigger states, from the little small state of Connecticut. If you know where Yale University is, that's exactly where I'm from, New Haven, Connecticut. So
there you go. I love it. I love it. Now, man, the chat is firing up. I love it. Look at all these awesome people coming from all over. We got Hawaii, the Niner guys in Manteca, Connecticut. Norma, we got another Connecticut people out there.
Oh, Norma. What's going on,
out
Norma?
there?
Yeah.
Chad out in St. Louis. We won't hold that against you, Missouri people. I went to grad school out there, so it's what it is. Oh, Diego's in the chat. You remember Diego from Mexico City? He was the photographer at our event. Absolutely crushed it. Such a good dude. Such a good dude, man. I love this. And so keep those coming. I'm from Dallas. I live in Pasadena, California currently. I got out here as quick as I could. So, oh man, Denise, another Westport, Connecticut.
Westport. Okay. That's what's up. I never knew
love
that.
it. Yeah, all right. Let's transition and keep those coming in. I went to UMKC, the Fighting Kangaroos, baby.
I went
The
to
Fighting
UConn,
Roos.
University of Connecticut. There's when I was there, it was
Husky, baby.
basketball, Huskies. Yeah, that's what it was. Rip
They're for
Hamilton.
real.
Yeah, they were.
Were. Now, let's go to some Brock Purdy talk. Okay. Because if we look now, again, this is coming from Coach Yak on Twitter. He does a great job. If you don't follow him, you probably do. He does a wonderful job. Listen to these ranks, and this includes the wild card round. Since his first start, okay, this is first start, so this doesn't count the Miami game. This is just first start. 12 touchdown pass, best in the NFL. 1,245 passing yards, third in the NFL. 9.4 yards per attempt, second in the NFL. 119.4 pass rating, first in the NFL. Rookie of the month for December, January, 2 times rookie of the week during that time. And remember, 262 means 261 people were chosen before him. Dude has crushed it. And what would you say? How did Brock Purdy perform in his first playoff game? It's not going to be his last. How did he perform?
I mean, I would say he definitely excelled, right? Like he excelled expectations. I would say he played above average. Look, first half, you saw a lot of passing from Brock. We kind of didn't understand what was going on. We were like, why not just run the ball, whatever, whatever. I think that was all Kyle Shanahan really toying with the Seahawks, trying to test the limits, stretch the range out a little bit. Because next thing you know, Brock comes back and he's just like super accurate, on point, and doing what he does. I mean, then he puts up these touchdowns, 3 of them to be exact. Then he has a rushing touchdown on top of that. He also had over 330 plus yards in this game, along with a couple of rushing yards in this game. So you look at Brock and you're saying, man, what is it that Brock can't do? Brock may be the next Bo Jackson. Now that I think about it, I mean, Brock knows. I don't know.
I like the Brock nose. I might steal that one, Wayne.
Yeah, maybe my guess. Just put
It like, okay, whatever metric you want. What is happening now? The 49ers are averaging 34 and a half points per game since Brock Purdy came in. 34 and a half. That's a lot of points, especially when you got the number 1 defense on the other side. And, it's interesting because we always want to compare. Like, you just compared Brock to Bo Jackson, just because he was so great. And, I get a lot of questions, and you do too, about, okay, 2012, 2013, what's the difference, blah, blah, blah. And I keep saying, no. You're comparing the wrong generational team.
Mhm.
This team, I do not compare to 2012 or 2013. I compare to 1994.
Mhm.
Because the similarities are there. One, you have one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. Look at what Steve Young did, which was incredible. You brought in a top flight corner, Deion Sanders,
Sanders.
Charvarius Ward.
Yeah.
That propelled the defense up to that next level. You
Mhm.
had this elite pass rusher, right? That's going on in the defensive lineman. I mean, it just makes too much sense to me. Now, one thing, and I alluded to this a little bit earlier, Brock Purdy has thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in every single game he has played in since the Miami game whenever he took over. That's 7 straight games. I went back through the game logs, and the 1994 Steve Young year was one of the most efficient quarterback years of all time. Passer rating, whatever you want to look at. Not even the great Steve Young accomplished that in 1994. 7 straight games of 2+ touchdowns. This kid has done it in his first 7 starts. Now, I'm not saying he's Steve Young. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. What I'm trying to do is provide context with dealing how special this run that Brock Purdy has brought about. Even the great 1994 MVP Steve Young did not accomplish. We're in weird territory, Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you look at Brock and you be like, man, like this kid just has something. Some players have this thing called the it factor. It's just what it is. They go out there, it's not that they understand football, it's just it's they are football, right? They are the game. They're in it. It's all about them. It resonates in their spirit, their soul, and that's what Brock does. Like when he goes out there, even on the plays where you're like, oh my god, he's about to roll into a sack, and then all of a sudden he doesn't roll into a sack, and then he's rolling out, and then he gets near the out of bounds line, and he still has enough time to throw the ball away. Like that's the player that understands or gets football. Like you can tell it's within him. And so, like, how do you defeat that? Like, how do you
Mhm.
you beat somebody that is beating the game, right? And so that's what Brock is doing. And so no matter what type of defenses they throw at him, no matter what type of kitchen sinks and wrenches and curveballs and whatever it is they throw at him, he's able to adapt. He's able to adapt, and that's the key. Like, that's why the 49ers continue to find ways to win, even when they trail. When we were trailing at halftime, I know everybody was mad. Jimmy Ward did the penalty. I get it. Bonehead thing, right? And my first tweet was, the last time Brock trailed at halftime, 49ers won.
Okay, here's what I want to do. Let's try to let's make the conversation like this. I want everybody in the chat. This y'all's homework. I'm giving you guys homework right now. Sorry, I used to be a teacher. My bad. You need to tell me what 2 words make Brock Purdy special. Okay, what 2 characteristics? What 2 words come to mind when you're describing Brock Purdy? I don't want to give you the answers, my answers or Wayne's answers. Throw those up in the chat right now. What 2 things? Try to keep them as short as possible so we can share some of these, because it's just weird right now. I'm just telling you. Denise says it's all about natural instincts, which you cannot measure, right?
Yeah, that's the intangibles, right? Those are the intangibles, Denise. You're 100% correct. And that's what you see, that he gets football. Like, some quarterbacks are super skilled, right? They're just skilled, right? They're athletic. They can move. They're mobile. This kid is just instinctual. That's totally different than all of that put together.
Yeah, listen to these answers. Denise says smart and mobile.
I like
Debbie, she said, oh man, the chat's blowing up so fast I can't even keep up. I love this. Intense focus. Oh, that's a good one, because he's always in. Robert says cold-blooded.
Oh, that's my Rick James. Wait a minute, I put that out there on Instagram. I made when he was doing his little Brock whatever roar, and I was like, oh, he's cold-blooded, man.
That's right. And he even does the ice in the veins.
That's what I'm saying,
right?
So, yeah.
I love it, man. It's coming through. Sydney, she says humble and focused. That is one thing. I think a lot of it too. Okay, whenever Brock gets drafted 262, he's Mr. Irrelevant. Okay, whatever. Like, if you're around the draft in NFL, that's not an insult. It's whatever. But then they go do the whole special, which I thought was cool. And I watched it, and the dude, at no point did he act like this is beneath me or whatever. And Brock was asked about it right after his first start and all that stuff, and he started getting the accolades. And he just said, at the end of the day, I met a lot of really good people. And that's one of the things that stands out to me, is just relationships. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the NFL Films bit right after Debo scored his touchdown. Brock Purdy walks over to the sidelines to see Debo and says, it's really, really fun playing with you. Like, how simple, how many quarterbacks go over to a wide receiver and says, you know what? It's really, really good play. It's really fun playing with you. Oh, I love this. Chad comes out. Man, the chat's blowing up. This is awesome. Confidence and swag. It's different. Raphael, moxie and guts. Pocket awareness, says Diego. Patience and persistence, says Michael. Those are these people coming through, man. I love this. So, Wade, I'm going to let you jump into the chat. I'm going to let you control some of these. Let's share some of these answers that you see that stand out as we continue this Brock Purdy discussion.
I like this one because Frederick says prepared and self-belief, man. I'm a firm believer in Scar from The Lion King, and he had one of the greatest songs of all time, Be Prepared, because you have to be prepared. And you can tell Brock comes out there each and every week, he's prepared. So that's really elusive and accurate. Cynthia, I think you might have said
real quick, sticking on the Lion King theme, that is also one of my favorite songs. Shout out Jeremy Irons, who was the voices. And I was pissed whenever they did the Will Smith remake, and it wasn't in it.
I know.
It wasn't in it. I was mad.
Great actor, but just
I digress.
Yeah,
we keep hitting the 1994. We keep going back to the 1994.
Die Hard.
He was. Well, he was in number 3.
I know, which is not a Christmas movie, but so yeah, man. Like, you got real team player.
He was in Die Hard 3.
He was in Die Hard 3. Die Hard with a Vengeance. That was a fun one though. That was with Samuel L. Jackson too.
That's right.
Sorry guys, we can go off tangent. Anyway, Cerebral. My favorite, Dan Evans. Cerebral and gritty. You can't find another grittier player. That's what I like about Brock. You want to know what I love about Brock? He's the mother-loving underdog, bro. He's the
And
underdog of the underdogs in every way. So every week he goes out there with the U on his chest saying, I'm an underdog and I'm going to prove to everybody why I'm not. And what better way to be equipped with some of the weapons that he has been blessed with, right? You look at CMC, you look at George Kittle, you look at Kyle Juszczyk. You're looking at all of these weapons for Brock to succeed. So, Brock, keep going out there doing your thing. Leadership, that's another one.
Love it. Now, we've had some Brock talk. Before we transition to the Cowboys and kind of previewing the matchup that is to come, do want to remind everybody we are going to be giving away an Eric Armstead autographed mini helmet. But if you don't win that, guess what? The wonderful Nick Clark is going to be hosting trivia right after this show concludes over on the app. And guess what you can win over there if you know your stuff? Go ahead, tell him.
Autographed George Kittle jersey, which I'm coming by to get because that was my birthday present. So if you win it, it's coming back to me. Right? I'm just saying, Nick, I got to let you know because anyway, you're going to win an autographed George Kittle jersey if you can win the trivia. Nick, you better trick them because if they don't win, it's mine.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go now. Let's go to the Cowboys. Cowboys came out. They delivered.
They did.
Very good performance. Blew out Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, whatever. They won. So now that the matchup's set, okay, and the questions, okay, again, this is not my questions. These are not my questions. These are the questions from, social media heads and national pundits and whatever else. The new question being posed to Brock Purdy is, this is the best defense that Brock Purdy has played against. So can he answer this question? What say you, Wayne?
Every week. This is the underdog talk that I'm talking about. Every week he has to go out there. And here's the funny thing. Every week, another 49er player enables Brock Purdy, right? So it's like it takes Purdy to a whole nother level. You never know. Pick your poison. So, yes, he's going to get these same questions every week. He beats Dallas, then it's going to, can he beat Philly or the Giants, whoever went out there again? It's every week. Then he gets to the Super Bowl. Is he going to be able to beat not Jared, Patrick Mahomes or Josh, or the other quarterback from Cincinnati? It's every week.
Keep them coming. Now, real quick programming alert. We are going to be switching over exclusively to the 49ers Supporters Club. And if you've been watching this on my channel or Wade's channel, just want to say thank you. Really appreciate your support. But listen to me, guys. Listen carefully. If you use the promo code PLAYOFF50, no spaces, PLAYOFF50, you can get $50 on a year-long subscription, baby. Year-long subscription to the Supporters Club, and all they do is great things. You want to know how great they do? Look at this right here. Do you see this? This is a Kyle Shanahan bobble doll. Look at that scarf. Look at Wayne. He's never looked better in his life. I'm just saying.
It says, too.
Look at that, baby. It's so clean. So clean. So we need you guys. Head over to 49ers.com. Whenever you sign up, if you haven't yet, use the promo code PLAYOFF50 for the whole year. The whole year. We got you. So we're going to be heading over there. We're going to be signing off for our channels. I want to say thank you for all the support there. But this show's still going on. Plus, we got trivia after this. You want to be a part of this, guys. So if you haven't yet, jump over there. PLAYOFF50 is the promo code. We got you. It's time to preview this game. So you want to join us, that's where we're going to be at. So, all right. Now,